Oh man, it's good to be talking about video games. That's right. I have a video game for you, and it's Bright Memory Infinite. Oh hey, I mentioned that game previously, and I said how Infinite was going to offer the better package. Here's why.
Welcome, the Gamer Man's Lounge. Awaken to play.
Hello and welcome to the Gamer Man's Lounge. I am Lord Gamer Man of this lounge, coming at you with a modern game view, and hopefully things are going well for you guys. Don't worry, I'm pointing my finger at you. As for me, welcome to a modern game view, of course. Now, previously, we did take a look at Bright Memory, and, yeah, Bright Memory was that short, ended off on a cliffhanger, like it was expecting like an episode 2 and an episode 3. And then, all of a sudden, there's Bright Memory Infinite, which we're gonna go ahead and touch right into. And you kind of see, okay, I think there's something bigger that's gonna be going on. They're probably... I'm starting to have suspicions, I'm starting to wonder, but... is it really what it is? We don't know, but right now, is Infinite gonna be the better go-to compared to the previous title? Yeah, here's why. Now, if I remember the last time I reviewed a Bright Memory game, or when I reviewed Bright Memory, I ended off on a rant about how people try to go big and epic when it comes to mobile games, and that's not the case. But, however, in the case of Bright Memory Infinite, we noticed something very interesting. You'll find Bright Memory Infinite on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and surprisingly, Nintendo Switch. But notice how there's no mobile version? Yeah, that's very interesting, because it looks like... I don't know what's going on. It seems like they're throwing the mobile plans out the window. So, FYQD Studios, there's something interesting going on with them, with the Bright Memory IP, and that's the thing. That's why we're going to be talking about Bright Memory, and that's why I'm going to say why Bright Memory Infinite is going to be the better game. Just go to Bright Memory Infinite, and you're good. You're not missing out much. If you're curious, fine. But expect things to not go well with you, and that's how things work. Yes, that's right, the summertime, so I'm figuring I gotta get as much videos done before the weather where I'm at gets hotter. So yeah, let's get right into it. Bright Memory Infinite. Players take the role of Shelia, a very attractive agent of the SRO organization dedicated to investigating supernatural phenomenons and anomalies while basically utilizing supernatural super soldier tech stuff, despite the fact that it's more leaning towards the sci-fi side of things. But hey, don't worry about questioning things, it is the way that it is. However, Shelia was about to go on a break, but unfortunately the break got interrupted, and she has to basically investigate a strange weather phenomenon that's accountable of some mysterious black hole. So, yeah, it's weird. So what's this black hole for? Well, here's the kicker. This mysterious storm that's caused by this black hole is not only causing serious weather changes that could be disastrous, but it's also spawning in ancient soldiers coming in from some alternate world or ancient timeline. Kinda weird. Something funny's going on. There's something fishy. Don't worry, this story has a lot more context than ever, so I'll get into that later. But yeah, Shelia is going to be a soldier who's going to kill with blade and gun, and she can use telekinetic and static gauntlet that's called like an exo-arm, and she can force grab enemies and force push enemies into pieces. Yes, she can rocket punch, you can charge for a devastating projectile, so that's pretty cool. And you can ground pound into an AoE attack, which is very interesting. Those are the skills of Shelia, in which also you can get unlocked and have upgraded. Now, you can slash enemies with the sword from left to right. She has a sword. She can send enemies to midair with a rising slash. And, oh, get this, she also has a downward from midair slash that could trigger an AoE attack. And yeah, when you master Shelia's skills and start unlocking and upgrading, you start to realize how OP you can become. It's a good time, and you don't have to worry about the buggy shenanigans that's been going on with Bright Memory 1, so that's very interesting here. So, you can summon sword projectiles, you could charge for a devastating tracking projectile that's like a homing... It's like a spin slash, but however, it has like a projectile spinning blade that follows the enemy around, which is kind of cool. And the game length, of course, it's definitely short, but it is completed in a few hours, but at least you get more context, at least you get more details in terms of the storyline, so that's pretty great. Now, the game is replayable with New Game Plus style mechanics, okay? Oh, and the game also has a counter mechanic, which you gotta master with timing, so keep in mind of that. I'm gonna go with the negatives of this game. Now, the game length is gonna be short, and it's gonna be completed in a few hours. So yeah, you can complete it in a few hours. The game's really short, but hold on. Unlike Bright Memory 1, the storytelling, even though hampered by the game length, that's because, you know, when you have game length, you get, like, less room for storytelling, and that's the problem. But at least the storytelling did see some improvements compared to Bright Memory 1, and that's the thing. So I will say that. But yeah, the storytelling is still hampered by the game length, and if it was a longer game, that would have been for the best. Now, there are a few glitches, but not as buggy as hell compared to Bright Memory 1. So yeah, that's where Bright Memory Infinite becomes the better game. And here's where we can go ahead and move right into the pros. Bright Memory Infinite's got some great action-packed gameplay. It's hugely improved. It's balanced well compared to the previous, and there's a lot of improvements. But now there's an added third-person mode where you can basically see the good old attractive, beautiful-looking Shelia that's kicking ass. And yes, there is a third-person mode, but here's where things get really interesting here, okay? Yes, you have the environments that are really fantastic, especially with ray tracing turned on in DLSS if you have to. But I will go ahead and say, it looks damn well gorgeous, it looks amazing. And I will say, with the ray tracing graphics on, oh yeah, this is good. And when it comes to the great level design, yeah, the level design is fantastic from left and right. And, of course, it's really action-packed. You're going to be shooting things, you're going to be sneaking around, you're going to be driving. Yeah, that's right, you have a segment where you're driving around in a car. That looks pretty cool. And you're having a situation where you're, like, constantly running and and then you're in this huge, big environment where it's, like, stormy and you have rain and all that water going around. It's insane from left to right, and when it gets chaotic, it looks beautiful. The effects is amazing, so I will go ahead and say that. So, yeah, great level design, and I will like the great environments. Great graphics, I will say. Now, there's tons of cool ways to take out enemies, like I just mentioned in previous minutes, because of, like I said, you become this badass who can basically fuck shit up and just use the abilities of the exo-arm, use the abilities of the sword, and when you master them, you actually realize, oh hey, I'm OP, but you still have to be careful when you're trying to be OP before you kind of get yourself in a pickle. It is the way that it is. So I will go ahead and say that. The voice acting has also seen some improvements. And there's tons of skins for the weapons, and yes, the sword, too. But for Shelia, she does have a wardrobe of DLC outfits that is absolutely great. Even the swimsuit. I mean, being honest here, when it's raining, you probably might as well just go on a swimsuit. Just wear a swimsuit. What do you mean it's cold? But, you know, yeah, at the same time it's wet. Of course you're going to wear a swimsuit. They actually added in a swimsuit outfit. Or not just swimsuit outfits, they actually added in outfits that's not just like reskins of like the regular compared to like Bright Memory. Just like I noticed. So I will go ahead and say that. Now, it is. The voice acting's pretty good, I will go ahead and say that. And the campaign, despite its length, is just jam-packed. Yeah, even though the game is short, I was about to say sort rather than short, my bad. But I will go ahead and say it is jam-packed. The campaign is really jam-packed, to say the least. And like I said, great character design, especially the female protagonist who you play as, Shelia. Yeah, looking great. No wonder why they had all these outfit options, including the swimsuit one. It's very interesting. So, and of course you have upgradable weapons and abilities. So there you go. If you want to get Bright Memory Infinite when it's on sale, I don't blame you, understandably so you can go ahead and get everything, the DLC included, and that's absolutely kind of great, and you'll save bucks. However, I will go ahead and say that Bright Memory Infinite is recommendable. I'm trying to prevent myself from burping. Why am I preventing myself from burping? The Gamer Man's Lounge is the home of the quality burps. Anyway, that totally said, I will go ahead and say my final verdict on this one. If you want to go straight to Infinite, I don't blame you. I would go straight to Infinite, and however, when I went straight to Infinite, I was like, okay, wow. But then I realized, oh, Bright Memory 1, oh, wait a minute, something's not right. So I dove into Bright Memory, and I was like, wow, this is underwhelming. And I kind of noticed, like, you might want to just go for Infinite, because it's the better game. It has a more clarified story. Another thing that I want to notice, it's like the previous game, Bright Memory Infinite is like basically pretending like the previous title doesn't exist. And that should definitely say something. Okay, we're transported in this mysterious fantasy world in Bright Memory 1, then 2 seconds later, we're in Shelia's world, and okay, that's weird. So, I don't know what's happening with the previous installment, if they ditched the episodic plans with the previous installment and then decided, you know what, here's Bright Memory Infinite, so here you go. It is kind of weird, but one thing's for certain, I know for a fact that it's totally recommendable if we are to basically talk about, okay, Bright Memory Infinite, so just, if you want to play Bright Memory 1, entirely up to you, but if you want to go to Infinite, I'd go for Infinite, because Infinite's going to have more DLC outfits, it's going to have more jam-packed campaigns, it's less buggy, it's more balanced, you're going to have a good time, and as you master the skills and abilities, you're definitely going to have a good time. So with that totally said, just go for Bright Memory Infinite, and that's pretty good. And with that totally said, all I gotta say here is that FYQD Studio, well done. Well done. So, yeah. And that totally said, that's all. I will be looking forward to you in the next video. Peace out.